Good morning, YouTube. This is Michael Wolf Parsons, and I'm coming to you at Wolf Customs in Neosho, Missouri. Today's video is something a lot different than what I've been doing for the last 6 months. For those of you who already follow my channel, you know that I build cars, custom cars, and I've been building a custom Humvee. And it's and then I posted some videos of some other cars I built. But this time I'm going to do a video on working on our shop. So I'll have my cameraman, if he wants to pan around, I'll talk a little bit about the shop. But we built this shop ourselves. The only thing that we hired out was the concrete work. But my husband and I, Doc, who's the cameraman, our idea was to use shipping containers for the sidewalls, and then the rest of the shop is steel frame. We used steel trusses, and I really I went overkill on a lot of it. Instead of centering the trusses on 10 foot, I did 8-foot centers, and on the purlins, instead of doing 4-foot centers, I did 3-foot centers. This is a very strong building. And as you can see, of course, the containers are 40 feet long. So from this point forward, we have about a 14, maybe a 15-foot ceiling. So the way I did that is I welded a 3-inch angle on the side of the container up here, and then I put 3-inch square tubing legs, welded at the bottom, and then at the top of the container, and then extended those up, and then set our trusses down in those. And then we just added on from that point out to extend our roof over the top of the containers. So the inside dimension is 40 by 80. And we did all the wiring ourselves. So we still have work to do. There's a lot of gaps here and there, but you know, we're really proud of it. So, and it's one of those things you dream about doing for a long time, and then when you actually get to do it, it's a joy to see that dream come into fruition. So today's project, inside these 2 containers is kind of our parts room, and they're lined with shelves, and we have just parts everywhere. It's not really all that organized, and in the coming weeks I'm going to be putting up more shelves in there. But right now, if we want to get in there, we have to go outside the shop and open up the end of the container doors and to go in there. So Doc was asking me this morning, because we're kind of at a lull. I wanted to take a few days off on the Humvee. He said, why don't you go ahead and cut a door opening in this? So that's really the purpose of this video. There's probably all kinds of videos on YouTube on people working on shipping containers. And by the way, I'll be posting some videos later this summer. We also built our house out of shipping containers. So I'll be sharing with you how I built that house. And you know, it's in progress. We have probably half of it done. So for today, we're cutting an opening right here. And my first step, I have a Bosch laser level, and so I just clamped that on this step ladder, and this is 6 foot 6 inches right here. We're not after a standard door opening, we're just looking for an opening. And I have kind of like this little loft section in here. You can see where it has some welding here, but there's storage above this on the inside, so I can't go higher. So we're going to put the doorway here. The level, I love how this projects a laser line, and if you try to do this by hand, it's kind of tricky to have a straight line going across this corrugation. So anyway, the laser took care of that. And then the tools I use, of course, I start with gotta have gloves. I have a leather sleeves. I have this Metabo grinder. I love it. I have 3 of these actually, and I dropped one of them from when I was up on top of the roof. So it was a little over a 12-foot drop, and the grinder held up. So it's a pretty tough unit. So I love using these abrasive cutoff wheels, but they do throw a lot of sparks, and I don't like really having all that grit and stuff on me. So part of my cuts will be with this. The other part will be with this Bosch circular saw, and this is made specifically for cutting metal. It's a let's see, where's the model number? CSM 180, I believe. So what's really cool about this, it turns at a slower RPM, and it uses a blade designed for metal. Now I don't know if I'm going to do a time-lapse video, so I might have to change this blade. I can't remember if it's dull or if it's a new blade, but I'll use this to do my vertical cuts. I'm just going to cut along one of these ribs, and I'll use this to cut along the top, and then I'll use my cutoff wheel to cut the bottom. And I always start at the bottom. It's like even when I'm building custom cars or doing a chop top, I always make the hardest cuts first. And you don't want, like the sides and the top would be easy, and then you don't want to do that and then be like having this panel loose while you're trying to cut the bottom. So I start with the bottom and then work my way up. And of course, safety glasses, but I also, this is my welding visor. It's I guess you'd pronounce it ESOB, but it has a feature on it where I can push this button, and it's for grind, so it kind of cancels out the auto darkening feature. And when I'm using this tool especially, I want full face protection, and so I'll use my grind feature on it. And this will, sometimes these blades have been known to grenade, so anyway, between this and my leather sleeves, that gives me the protection I need. So yep, wash tool, toggle grinder, safety wear. Can you think of anything else, cameraman?
Not a thing.
Okay, well, so stay tuned. I'm gonna try. Okay, hello friends and family. This is Micah Wolf Parsons again. And so hopefully if you're watching it at this point, I have successfully edited together a video with a time lapse, which I've never done before. And so this is a part I just want to talk about, go over a little bit about what I did. I'm pretty happy with this. A little out of practice using my tools. Hadn't had to cut a lot of metal lately since I've been working on the Humvee. But my cuts turned out straight. And this side I ended up, when you saw me on the video, it was actually cut a little bit over, and I ended up coming inside and trimming it even with this this corner piece. And yep, so I'll probably put some sort of a framework around this, just some angle, just to keep us from getting into that edge. But for the most part, this little project is done. And I do want to say, like on these bottom corners, you may have seen me in the time-lapse video grab another tool, and when you get down here to the very bottom, sometimes you can't always get that last ½ inch. So since I was already in the shop and had air, I just grabbed the air chisel and just chiseled that last little piece on each side. When you don't have an air chisel, I've used a hammer with a sharp chisel. But anyway, that's that little project's done, like I said. So our parts room, it's we need some major organization. So coming up, I'll be putting some shelves down this wall. As you can see, we've got freestanding shelves on both sides over here, but need some organization, so we'll get that done soon. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next videos.